afternoon. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see me clearly so we're not having any technical issues. It looks like the image is, let me go here. All right. Got it. Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's keynote. It is Funding Friday. So on Fridays, our conversation will be around credit, business credit, funding, all of those things. So I am excited to be here with you. If we have not met, my name is Keandra Ward. I am the founder of the KWI Collective. We're a marketing, public relations, and media firm, and we are a resource in the credit and funding space. Today's topic is funding follows the focus, how clarity brings capital. Here's what I will say. Now, no matter if I am lending or getting a grant, being very clear about my business and how I communicated my business and the vision of my business was the key factor in getting the loan, the grant, the funding, right? So before funding comes, clarity must lead. You have to learn how to clearly communicate your business vision so that lenders, investors, and grantors, one, take you seriously and buy into what you are offering. So what you got to understand is people have to buy. It's still a buy-in process. They need to believe in what you're doing. They have to buy in to the vision, right? Because they're giving you their money, whether it is a grant and they're not getting it back and they're giving it to you, or a loan that you have to pay back. They still have to make the decision of if it is a viable business, a business that is clear enough to understand so that they can feel secure in how they lend, right? So when I think about it, I used to do a lot of hustling, always trying to put in a grant opportunity, put in a loan opportunity, and my vision wasn't always clear, right? So what I found is that I had to go back and get clear. And the reason why I knew that my vision wasn't clear is because they asked me too many questions. When you are going for any type of funding, whether it is investor, lender, grantor that is given the money, the less questions they have to ask you about what you're doing lets you know that you've been clear enough. Then the decision for them comes that if it is a viable business that they want to invest in and make and take the risk for, right? The one thing that I also had to look at is the 3 questions or 2. Well, I'm going to give you guys 2 today that every funder is silently asking. Whether or not they're saying it out loud, this is what they are thinking. Now, I have been on both sides, a borrower and a lender. And as a lender, this is exactly what I was thinking. Here's the one question. One question is, can I trust you with my money? They want proof that you're credible, that you are disciplined with your money and financially responsible. That's why your credit score is so important. That's why they use the credit score, because it lets you know if you are disciplined. So the first thing that they're thinking, whether they say it out or not, is, can I trust you with my money? Now, this is interesting because we think of this from a lending standpoint, but from a grantor, they're thinking the same thing. I'm giving you my money. I'm not giving it back. My goal for giving this money is to help a business move forward. Can I trust that you're going to do the right thing? And some of them will put stipulations around the money and the grant that you're getting. But that's one of the main questions they ask. I mean, think about it. You would ask the same question as well. And then the next thing is that they're silently asking, that they're not saying to you is, will this investment pay off? They need clear evidence of market demand, its scalability, and a path to ROI. Even if it is a grant, they want to know, if we're giving you this to boost it, what's the ROI? Where will you be? Can we use you as a case study for more? Maybe the grantor gets grants themselves. You know what I'm saying? Can we use you as a case study? Are you a viable product that would show evidence of growth? Does this investment pay off for me? Those are some of the things that I want you to think about, because these are some of the things that they are asking to themselves, right? Now, the next thing that they want to know is your business story. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I always talk about, and if you have been in any of my marketing classes or have coached you in marketing, I will always tell you how important the story is. The story allows people to, your story and the story of your brand allows people to connect and know, like, and trust you. And if you are looking for funding, you want to do your research on the fundor and see where you can build and merge your story with them as well. Right? So your business story is always going to be highly important. How did you get there? What was the heart-wrenching move that made you say yes? Where was the shift? Right? Think about those things. Now, when we think about it and we know, lead, I have been talking about this for the past 2 months is your why. Now, it came to me on a personal level, but as I started applying for some grants recently, the one of the questions was, what's your why? So that's why I know that God was leading me and why he had me redefine my why, because it would be a big part of my next moves and purchases. My purchases, my next moves, my next collaborations, it has all actually been centered around my why. So when you're preparing your business funding story, you want to lead with your why and your results. You want to always share the problem that you solve. What's your unique advantage? What makes you look different? What makes you different than any and everybody else? And if you know me, you know the measurable traction. They want to see the numbers. I want to see the analytics behind those results. Don't just tell me the results. I want to see the process, the analytics, and see the traction of results, right? So that means you got to keep good records. That means you got to keep good analytics, and you have to show your viability to the lenders, right? So lead with your why and results. Okay. And then the next thing you want to do to prepare your story is show the money plan. Clearly outline how much you need. Do not go in there with a, yeah, just give me 100,000. Why? Do you really need 100,000? What's the 100,000 for? Go with a clear outline of how much you need, how it will be used, and how it will drive what you're going to do drives profitability. Even if it is a grant, you still want to show this information. Let's be very clear. Like, we think people just, they do want to give us money, but there's some stipulations around it. And then as business owners, we're always like, oh, I'm not going to do funding and loans. I'm just going to do grants. But I tell people this all the time. Say there's a grant for $20,000, right? And they only have one, one, one segment of 20,000 to give out, and they don't have a cap on how many people can apply. And let's say 5,000 people apply. What is the actual ratio of you actually getting that $20,000, right? So you have to think about that, and why you have, instead of being, I had to understand, because I was like that. I was like, Keandra, you're being slothful. You don't want to do the work to make sure that your business and financial profile is strong enough to get lending, and that you have put together a sound and strong plan that could pay it back, that you're like, I'll just get grants. A lot of us do that. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm stepping on some toes, but it is what it is. When we should be making sure our businesses and lives are fundable. And using, and because we've structured to where we're fundable, we're now using other people's money to get ahead, to then build out our profitability scale, right? So those are the things I want you guys to think about and really start thinking as a business. And then I want you to think about the mistakes that cost entrepreneurs capital. What are some of the mistakes that have cost you capital? Now, let me tell you, a mistake is looking at an opportunity for a grant, right? And it says we need to see your last 2 years of taxes, and you haven't even filed your taxes. So that's a mistake, even if no one knows it. So having weak financial records and paperwork, inaccurate records, missing documents, sloppy bookkeeping, all of those things show you as a risk. And then pitching without proof, asking for money without data. Yeah. We're going to do it. Give me $5,000 and we're going to make it happen. Well, show me how you've made it happen already and show me how this will help you to scale. Right? So asking for money without data, not being able to show your attraction or a clear path makes investors walk away. When we think about it, remember, whether it's their money or not, they are still liable for where it goes and how it returns and what the ROI on that looks like. Okay. So let me be very clear. It's not about if the money is there, it is out. It is more about, are you prepared to receive it? It is about now for me, I'm gonna be very honest. I had to put down my pride and get my stuff together. Can I move past my pride and really work and walk and get this stuff together? Right? Now, I then had to go back and really look at my story. My story, your story is stronger than anything else. Your story is the stronger your story, the stronger your pitch. You want to make it impossible for them to ignore you. You want them to, when they hear your name, remember your story. Oh, that's the one that has this brand and it was built off of this situation. Oh, I remember that because I can connect with that because my mama, sister, cousin had a situation like that. Or I remember this, this, and this, right? You want to make sure that your story and understand that your story is your strongest pitch. Make it impossible for people to ignore. Make it impossible for them to ignore you. And don't fund confusion. Be very clear. Be very clear. Who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it, the statistics around it, and how you're going to grow. Be clear, be concise, and be creative, of course. Stand out. But first and foremost, bring clarity. We all know that funding follows the focus. Funding follows focus, okay? Clarity will always bring you capital. I received a $500 grant, and the reason why is because the people I was pitching against, they had too many questions to ask them to understand their product or service. They asked me one question, and it was a scaling question. And I was able to answer it not only because I knew my brand, and I was taught how to know the insides and outsides of your product when I was doing hair, when I was on stage. That's where I learned that concept from. You need to know every ingredient in this product and what the ingredient does. And I apply that now to my business, and I'm not even doing hair. Right? So you have to know your business inside and out. You have to know your numbers inside and out. And you have to understand your scale and profitability scale inside and out. So I hope these tips help you to even just consider what funding looks like for your business, where you are and where you want to go with funding. Always remember that weak financials and paperwork makes you look like you are not together. It doesn't breed connection. It doesn't breed viability. It doesn't breed sustainability. You can find some free apps right now to begin to get your records. If you need a financial person to help you, I have a couple people that I can refer. Just DM me and I will make sure I send you their information so they can help you get on track. If you know that your credit score is not up to par for funding, reach out to me. And let's begin to work on building your credit score. I really don't care where you've been. I care about where you are and where you're going. I mean, we have to get past the concern of us looking at what people think. I don't care. Okay. What I care about is how do I get to where I'm going so that I can serve the people that I'm called to serve. All right. So I hope this has helped you today. Remember, I'll put links for everything in the comments. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and hashtag tapped in so that I know that you are tapped into the conversation. We are going to be here on Monday at noon trying to build out our information around the topics of marketing, public relations, media, and funding. And always remember, you set the tone for your day, year, and your life. Make it a great one, y'all. I'll talk to you soon.